I kind of look like I've got a football jumper on, don't I, with this stripe across my shirt. That's just a shadow of a branch from a tree well above. G'day folks, it's that time of the month where I open my mail and there's lots of it.
Hey Robbie, you've got mail. You better check your mailbox. Yeah, thanks Robbie, I heard that. Post Office Box 4040, Wangaratta, Victoria 3677.
Now this first parcel, this one just come from Amazon. A couple of these I've opened before I film. Normally I don't like to open them until I'm on film, but there's a couple that I've had to for various reasons. In here, we have, there's no name on the envelope by the way, it's just come direct from Amazon. We have a Cyclone Tomahawk, a brand new little handheld axe. And I'm opening this one first. Sometimes I open them randomly, sometimes I open them in the order that they arrive in my mailbox each month, but this time I'm opening them heaviest to lightest because it's a little bit windy and I want to be able to put these heavy objects on the lighter ones when I open the wrappers. So we've got a Tomahawk, a packet of Berkeley Powerboat pre-rigged soft plastics. They look really cool. And, oh, here we are. There's a little printed letter, make sure there's no address on it. There's a little printed letter here. A gift for you, Damien French. Hi Robbie, I was the bloke that sent you the Berkeley big game fishing line. Ah, remember last month I opened a bag and it had fishing line in it and I didn't know who it was from. I watch your fishing videos with my 9-year-old. She loves your episodes and she caught 2 European carp on the weekend in Moree. Damien from Damien French. Thank you so much, Damien. Now I know where the fishing line came from. A soft plastic, a brand new Tomahawk, and a letter, a little printed letter here from Damien French. Thank you for the gift, Damien, and thank you for the fishing line last month. And I apologise for not being able to thank you last month, but I didn't know who it came from. Now this next one, I also opened this early. To be quite honest, I thought it was a box of chocolates. So, this one has come from Baits by Nimbus. It just felt like a box of chocolate. I thought I'd better open it in case it needs to go in the fridge. I'm kind of glad it wasn't because I opened it 3 weeks ago and it wouldn't last it until now. Right, Baits by Nimbus. I'll read the letter first. G'day Robbie, I am a hobby lure maker from down the road and a viewer from my TikTok live painting sessions. A sub of yours was amazing and bought some lures for me to send to you. I started making my own lures during COVID lockdowns and then self-taught to 3D design and now resin 3D print lures. I've watched you for a while and love your content, man. I hope you like what's inside. They are all my design and made. Cheers, Robbie, and massive shout out to your subscriber who made the order. Tight Lines Nimbus at Baits by Nimbus on YouTube and on TikTok. So check out Baits by Nimbus on YouTube and TikTok. I did a Facebook page but was hacked. So Baits by Nimbus on YouTube and TikTok, but not Facebook because it was hacked. Right, first of all, oh wow, that's really cool. Oh, cool. I've got a huge big brag mat, but I like the fact that it's got those fish in it. I can see a trout, a redfin, a yellow belly and a Murray cod, and Baits by Nimbus written on it. That is awesome. I'll just fold that in half and I'll put it under the Tomahawk so I can keep moving here and I'll pack it away when I'm finished. Go away, flies. Right, let's look at this. So somebody has gone to Baits by Nimbus and ordered me some lures. I've got some Baits by Nimbus stickers, 3 little ones and 1 big one. That's a cool design, that. I like that. Right, let's have a look. Oh, hang on. A little lipless crankbait. Oh, wow. It's a Nimbus. Just says Nimbus on the bottom. We've got a medium-sized diver for yellow belly, and no doubt Murray cod will attack that as well. Here's another one the same, but a slightly different colour. So I'm getting them, they're in this box here. They're wrapped up in green and gold paper, Australian colours. So we've got two of these sort of medium size lures here that will be great for yellow belly and Murray cod. Actually, make that 3. There's a third one there as well in brown trout colour. Actually, that one's missing the front hooks. That's all right. No, that's a different design. That's a fatter lure. That's a shorter, fatter lure. We have this huge surface lure. And one more huge big surface lure. That is so awesome. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. To the subscriber of mine that put in the order through Baits by Nimbus for these lures, thank you so much. I can't wait to give these big surface lures a swim, I can tell you. I'm looking forward to that. Now, before I get to number 3, I think I've got 7 or 8 things to open here. I'm going to put these Baits by Nimbus lures, because there's a fair bit of weight in this package, I'm going to put that on top of these other ones to stop them from blowing away. Now, before I open this, and this is from Dean Bennett, I just want to give you a reminder that the cut-off for my mail time is the 15th of the month each month. So anything that I get up to and on the 15th of the month will go in this month's mail time. Anything that I get after will go in next month's. So if you've sent something in the week or so leading up to the 15th and it's not in this video, that will be in the next video. Or you sent it to the wrong spot, one or the other. Right, Dean Bennett. Hi Robbie. Now that I find myself being retired, I have started up a hobby hand painting fishing lures. Please find enclosed my newest lure variety for you to try out. Maybe when you're kayaking in your kayak or boat. Sorry, maybe when you're kayaking or in your boat. Sorry, Dean, that was very well written. I just read it wrong. So Dean's been painting these. Oh, that is a diver. Some lipless crankbaits. They call them limpless crankbaits or bibless crankbaits because they don't have a little bib. Whereas this diver, that's just a crankbait because it has got a bib and the bib helps it dive down deep. The bibbed lures, you cast them out and they dive down. The lipless crankbaits, you can let them sink straight down and work them vertically. The Cod Whisperer fishing lures. The Cod Whisperer, hand painted from Bendigo. Awesome. Now, the name here on the lures is the Cod Whisperer, but I don't know whether there's a Cod Whisperer Facebook or anything. I've got no idea. But either way, thank you so much, Dean. These lures look really cool. Next, the next one is a big one, and it's got no name on it. To Robbie, my name is Harry Reynolds. I am 11 years old and I am from Kyneton in Victoria. I'm writing you a letter to say thank you for all of your great fishing videos. I find them really interesting and informative. The only reason I got into fishing is because of you. Oh, and my dad. But mostly because of you, just being you. I love all of the videos you do, especially the bait fishing for cod and yellowbelly, so keep up all the amazing videos. From Harry. P.S. Here are some jokes. Why did the eggs all break? Because they cracked each other up. Why do ducks have so many tail feathers? To cover up their butt quacks. Why do fish live in salt water? Because pepper water makes them sneeze. From Harry. Harry, that is so funny and so awesome. Oh, we've got more. My biggest Murray cod is 60 centimetres. It was caught at the Murray River. Wow, that's a lovely fish. My biggest redfin is 53 centimetres. It was caught at a dam near Moama. I was in Moama the other day. 53 centimetres. Wow. My biggest carp is 68 centimetres. It was also caught at a dam, but the stinky things got there on their own. I do not know what my biggest yellow belly is. I think it's about 35 to 40 centimetres. I'm not sure if you remember, but I saw you at the VFA Open Day in 2024, and me and my brothers showed you the spinnerbaits. Later that day, the spinnerbait I showed you, I caught my first cod on. So thank you for saying it was a good lure, and keep up the great work. I do remember you showing me those spinnerbaits, Harry. Wow, thank you so much. That's so cool. I'm going to be speaking at this year's Victorian Murray Conference next month. If you want to come along, it's going to be in Shepparton, but there'll be more details about that soon. Actually, you can find details on the Victorian Fisheries Authority Facebook page. Wow, and what have we got here? Got him! Robbie fishing. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Harry. I'll just make sure there's not one page that I haven't missed. I love these kinds of letters. I love when you guys send me mail. I absolutely love it. But just know that if you send me material things like lures or fishing line or nets or whatever, I appreciate it and I thank you, but you don't have to spend money on me. Just a handwritten letter like Harry has just sent me just means the world to me. I love them. And I've still got about 4 more to read. All right, this one's from Maxwell Perry. Sorry if I'm doing this a lot. There's flies buzzing around my ears. Right. Dear Robbie, I am 11 years old and I am wondering where is the best place to fish this year. By Maxwell. Well, Max and anybody else that's following, that watches me, that question, I'm 11 years old, sorry, I'll read it out again. I'm 11 years old and I'm wondering where is the best place to fish this year. I get comments like this all the time on YouTube and they don't say where they are. Now, luckily for you, Max, it says it on the envelope where you're from, so I can answer you. But on YouTube, for anybody else watching, if you leave a YouTube comment and say, where's a good spot to go trout fishing? I'm probably gonna say, try the Goulburn River. I don't know where you're from. And quite often people will say, you know, oh, but I'm from Dubbo, or I'm from Adelaide or something, and I don't know that. And I don't have the time to go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So if you're gonna ask a question on YouTube, if it doesn't say where you're from, chances are I'm just gonna give you quite a generic answer. But I know that you're from Whitfield, Maxwell, so where's some good spots for you to go fishing? Well, being from Whitfield, Lake William Hovell is the most obvious answer. That usually fishes really slow this time of the year, but after Christmas, when the lake starts to draw down and the water's nice and warm, that's when the fishing starts to improve and we catch a few redfin, and then in the autumn it can be a really good fishery. So local to you, Lake William Hovell. This time of the year, I'm from Wangaratta, just down the river from you, and anywhere from Wangaratta down is quite good this time of year for bait fishing. I've been catching a lot of carp, been catching a couple of cod that I've been putting back because the season's closed, but the cod season opens soon, and yeah, during the spring and the summer, the lower ovens is a great spot local to you, but closer to home, Lake William Hovell in the autumn. That's one of my favourite fishing spots. From Johan, at the same address, or at least the same street. Dear Robbie, I am 13 years old and live in Whitfield, Victoria. I'm wondering how the trout fishing is. I tried Buttersuch Creek and the King River and have not caught anything. Thank you for your time. By Johan. Thank you for the letter, Johan. I think it's Johan, Johann. Now, I didn't actually say the name of that creek that you mentioned, and the reason being, because it flows mostly through private property and it's only a really small little creek, I don't think it's wise for me to tell like thousands of people about it, and it's fishing badly anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But overall, mate, the trout fishing has been really slow. Last year we had a disastrous trout season. The 2 years leading up to last year were fantastic, but then last year it was terrible. This year's a little bit better, but it's still not great. I'm catching more trout this season than I did last season, but I'm having to work for them. What that means is that I'm putting in a lot of time to find them. I'm not walking up and just catching fish after fish. I'm walking miles between fish. I'm fishing for longer to catch less fish, but I am catching more than last year. And I reckon that once the rain returns, as you can probably tell, it's quite dry at the moment. And I think that once the rain returns and just everything is a bit more lush and there's a bit more water, the trout fishing will improve. One thing that I've noticed in my years as a fisherman is that trout and redfin in particular, and even carp to a degree, tend to fluctuate in numbers throughout the seasons. When we get a wet year, all three of those species are more abundant. When we get a dry year, there's not as many of them. I know there's still a lot of carp around to be caught, but there's not as many as what there was a couple of years ago when there was a lot more flooded paddocks and swamps. The redfin in the lakes generally don't fish as well in the autumn and the dry summers as what they do, but the trout in particular seem to be the most vulnerable to dry years. And we've had a couple of dry years now, and that's why their numbers are down. So I think the trout fishing is a lot better than it was last year, but it's still got a long way to go before it is as good as what it was a couple of years before that. let's hope that we get a wet autumn and a wet spring and a wet winter next year, and they can swim up and spawn and thin and spread out a bit, and hopefully next season we'll just have a cracker. All right, next, I've got 2 more to go. This one doesn't say where it's from, but we'll open it and have a look. Oh, I can see where it's been stamped. Rightio. Hey Robbie, Toby Reeve here. I'm sorry I don't have a gift to give you. Toby, this is the gift. I don't need gifts. That's what it goes back to what I said a moment ago. As much as I appreciate people sending me gifts like lures, some guy ordered a heap of lures for me earlier in this video. I love you guys and I appreciate it, but I don't need gifts. I'm a very a fiercely independent man. I've got a lot of lures that I've bought myself. I've got lures that have been sponsored. I can buy the stuff that I need. So this is the gift. Please, anybody that's just drawn a picture or written a letter, don't ever feel guilty, because that's why I started this mail time. I started it because kids asked me to start a fan mail segment so they could send me letters. That's why I started it. So don't feel guilty, Toby. Just the letter is just perfect. I've been watching your videos for about 3 years. I really enjoy fishing and bought myself a kayak to go fishing on. I'm not expecting a reply or for anything to come from this letter, but I would really love to go fishing with you. I spend a lot of time in Wangaratta, but I would love to go fishing with you, from Toby. And yeah, Toby, thank you so much for your letter. And the fact that you would love to go fishing with me is heartwarming. I feel honoured that people want to go fishing with me. The issue I have is that there's quite a lot of people that want to go fishing with me, and I can't sort of discriminate here and there. So generally speaking, I don't take people fishing unless I know them, like my friends or family and stuff like that, because I don't know. I've got to be careful not to open the floodgates to everybody wanting to come fishing with me, if that makes sense. If I could, I'd take everyone fishing, but it's not possible. So maybe one day, Toby, we'll bump into each other on the river, and if we do, make sure you come and introduce yourself, because I'm sure we'd get along just well, and it'd be great to meet you. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to be presenting at the Victorian Murray Conference next month in Shepparton, which isn't too far from you, because I'm not saying where you're from in case you don't want people to know, but I can see where this is stamped. So I'm going to be presenting at the Victorian Murray Conference soon. I'm going to be there all day. So, mate, if you're free, come over and say g'day and introduce yourself. It'd be great to meet you, and thank you so much for the letter. Last but not least, Dan Bergen. You may remember Dan. Dan wrote a few times last year, and he bought a car, a new Kia and stuff, and I opened quite a few of his letters. I haven't heard from Dan for a while. Dan has written. Now, I have opened this one early because sometimes Dan's got the old style cursive script kind of writing, and I sort of trip over my words a bit when I read his mail. So this time, Dan, I've opened it early and I've had a head start. I've had a practice run. All right, it's great to hear from you, Dan. Dear Robbie, I chatted to Dan on the phone one day too, didn't we? We had a chat, it was great. Dear Robbie, I still have the Kia. It's actually not a bad car now that its idiosyncrasies have been sorted out. Now imagine reading a word like idiosyncrasies in cursive script, in double writing. That's why I had a practice run, because Dan knows big words and he writes them in an old-fashioned style of writing. So I'll start again. Dear Robbie, I still have the Kia. It's actually not a bad car now that its idiosyncrasies have been sorted out. One thing I am certain Sonny would understand in French, as he's Swiss and they generally understand French, is the expression "our fate de poison." I hope I've said that right. Ask him to translate. You and Sonny seem to do a fair bit of it. I know you know that. I know you know that French something going fishing, but verify it with Sonny. I'm still considering a fishing YouTube channel myself entitled Dan's Our Fate de Poison, or Dan Fate de Poison avec Dan, an Aussie fishing channel with a French flavour. Yours sincerely, Dan Bergen. Dan, I hope I have said those words right. Every time I'll ask Sonny, how do I say thanks for watching in French or happy birthday in French? I say it and then he laughs so much at me, and I don't know whether he's saying things that I shouldn't be saying or not. P.S. Ask Sonny what Mason de Merde means. Folks, I hope I didn't just swear in French, because if I did, I've got no idea. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel, supporting this segment, and for your wonderful gifts. Thank you all very much, and I really mean that. I'm very, very blessed.